idea of when you read the discussion to author, everything things there. You do this, you don't do this, write like this, don't write like this. You papers to the text of pages, the abstract should be like this, the references should be like this. There is so much of discussion. Really, enjoying very small. If you don't bring that, you reach to that point. And they also talk about the way you look at your references to be and the evolution, the kind of evolution and how to submit the manuscript, everything is written in that. You should read this before you decide. So we do that. So when you start writing, don't think you write from the front page and go to the last page. No. Some of the things you would like to write earlier and some of the things you would like to write later on. I would always start with methods. Methods that you've already done, so it is very easy for you to write. Or go to the introduction for what you want to do and that. Then you write a discussion and then go on stacking papers like that. You have 2, 3 files or 4 files, 2 papers into this. And subsequently you will read them. And ये जितना यहाँ पे लिखा है ना कागज को मुझसे गिरा है आजकल कोई लिखा है सब कंप्यूटर में लिखा है तो उतने पेजेस आपका कंप्यूटर से भी जाना चाहिए जनरली कोई कंप्लीट होगा but believe me nothing like writing on a paper then the tables what are the information that you want including the tables help you to make the paper short small तो बहुत सारे बातें लिखना नहीं पड़ता है to read them all in tabular form so it is done so in some figures you will support your data or even for figures which will make caricatures to where the story complete and the reasons for them all of it will be done at the second half of the match. That's what I say, tables and figures will be self-contained. The example दिया पेपर का. The 4 pictures, the space, the time, in a very common structure, the breaks, disintegrates in the cells die. So the sequence में होना चाहिए. Not that you will always get this, and if you don't get this, don't do. Okay, don't do that. यहाँ से मिलता है तो लगा लो. ऐसा नहीं. You're lucky you will get a sequence like this, but you will get something closer to that. है ना? हम लोग कई बार मिलते हैं किसी को मिलते हैं अरे भाई तुमको पहचाना हुआ लगता है तो बेटा आप कहाँ रहते हैं यार तो मेरा जो चाचा है ना वो वहाँ पे रहते हैं तो चाचा भतीजा का थोड़ा सा मिलता है लाइक दैट यू नो योर closest to what you are saying but don't look for a closer picture closest picture and don't try to pick it up cancel pick up your last and you should be sure of your results before you are writing be careful about this is happening not that you just thought it is happening and no, repeat it. It is happening once. Now outline the paper. These 3 things just make your article complete. What are the issues? Where are you planning what you want to really talk about? And what will you say about them? एक issue है तो आप उसके बारे में बोलेंगे नहीं ठीक है बढ़िया सा आपस में कभी झगड़ा किया 2 सहेलियां झगड़ा किया है उन दोनों ने झगड़ा किया बताओ उसके बाद चाय पे जाते हैं तो पूरा एक्सप्लेनेशन होता है कि झगड़ा को खत्म कैसे करेंगे नहीं आई थॉट इट इज लाइक दिस यू थॉट इट इज लाइक दिस एंड लेट अस थिंक लाइक दिस एंड देन दिस इज मॉडिफाइड सो वी आर फ्री नाउ लेट अस टॉक अबाउट इट एंड गो होम सो दैट नेक्स्ट टाइम वी विल बी योर फ्रेंड्स अगेन सो लाइक दैट यू नो फॉर एवरीथिंग यू correct and in what order is all happening in what order that's very nicely written because you can't say things which are not in proper order and it cannot be repeated or it cannot be confirmed that what is correct. Write a first draft. It's very interesting what I'm going to say. Don't ever worry about grammar, aesthetics, just brainstorm. Whatever is there, you write in the paper. Just don't stop. Sentence complete, incomplete, grammar ठीक नहीं, spelling ठीक नहीं, nothing. Sometimes you should be writing so quickly that your handwriting should also be looking different. Then don't wait for finding out the reference. कहाँ से पढ़ा था? Just write reference and then find out. Why you do this? We do this because write freely, it's very nicely written. Write freely and as rapidly as possible, and throw the whole thing down on paper. Just use it out on the paper. That's all. Everything that you think, you just write it. Never correct or rewrite until the whole thing is written down once. कुछ नहीं सोचना है, जो भी मन में आता है पहले लिखिए. Rewrite in the process is usually found to be an excuse for not doing more. The moment you stop and think, let me think, this is correct or not, you will stop there. You will not be able to do it. That is why it says, if you try to write and edit at the same time, you will do illegal work. So don't do it. When you are writing, don't edit. You edit after you once you have written it. This is where I started. I am going to move on this. I don't know where to begin. So use your outline. Make an outline first. I said, right? Once you have the outline, you can speak, right? क्या होता है? आप लोग जाते हैं किसी को मिलने के लिए, तो उसके इंटरव्यू देने जाते हैं. How many of you gone for some interview? Okay, तो कैसा होता है जब इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं? तो उसके जाते हैं, वो ऐसे पूछ सकते हैं, ये नहीं पूछ सकते हैं, ये पूछेंगे तो ये बताऊंगा, ये नहीं पूछेंगे तो कैसे बताऊंगा, होता है ना? Right? So I'll tell you one thing that Patro ऐसे ही मान लिया है. I have never attended an interview where somebody is asking me something which I never wanted in the past. Actually, I give him the next question in my answer itself. So you ask the next question to you. So the question is given to them, and they will ask you the question. How it happens? When you concentrate on yourself and start thinking, if I answer this, he may have these three questions. If I answer one of them or two of them, then he may have 5 more questions like this. So you are answering yourself the questions that you made yourself. So when you meet the person, you give him the clues to ask you what you want him to ask you. And then you have to, you are the person, no? Unless they have taken some drive or something like that. Otherwise you are there. Because you know what that you are doing a very good interview. And write the easiest section first. जो सबसे इजी है, जो आपको इजी लगता है, उसको सबसे पहले लिखो, ताकि आपको डिफिकल्ट नहीं लगेगा कि कैसे मैं क्या करूँ. I don't know what to say. Find out more about the subject. You don't know because you have read video. मेरा एक वाइस चांसलर थे, आजकल दिल्ली में है, become very old, Professor. I once asked him, when I was vice chancellor, he published their textbook in physics. Textbook writing as a vice chancellor is something really very difficult. I know it is very very difficult. So I asked him, sir, how you manage this? You know what he said? I never sleep without reading 10 pages and then writing 2 pages. So only you those pages पढ़ते तो 2 pages लिखते नहीं. He will say all the days, every day I read 10 pages, but I don't sleep without writing 2 pages. So just write 2 pages and then I edit it later on. They told me I've not been able to do it. I've never been able to do it. But it is true, unless you write and then sleep, you will not be able to do it. But I've seen this, you want to write and you're not writing, you're not sleeping. आपका दिमाग में चलता रहता है, अरे लिखना था, नहीं लिखा, भूल जाऊंगा. So first of write it and then sleep, you get a good sleep for that. But write something that makes you really interesting and find out more about the subject. So you read more, you get more information to write, and then you can write it again. And of course, nobody is a good writer. Every person can correct every other person's writing. अच्छे से अच्छा राइटर का sentences को change किया जा सकता है. Because everybody has got his own way of looking at it, writing it, speaking over. So things will be changed. So don't feel bad that you are not a very good writer. You are in fact a very good writer. Somebody is better than you. That's it. First of all, believe that you are a very good writer. Then say that there are some people who are doing better than you. If you say I am not a good writer at all, I cannot write because everybody else is writing better than me. No, it is not true. You are a good writer, but somebody may be writing better than you. So you have to find out a person who is better in writing than you, genuinely make him a friend and you help him. Editing is much easier than writing. That is what I say. First of all, go on writing. Editing anybody can do, your friends can do. I must just do it. You know, when I wrote the first ever paper in my life, I was a student of geology, but my paper was edited by a published book. As 1 year senior to me, I was just wondering who is going to edit my paper. Before I give it to my professor, somebody should read it. Now there are two things. If I give it to a geology professor scholar, he will go on telling me I am a Gada. Because he can say many things. Hey, Gada, ye nahi kara. But if I give it to a botany or a chemistry person, he will read it and tell me that the result is really the way it is written. Can you understand something from what I have written? So he will come with positive ideas. I gave it to a student, to a senior research scholar of botany department. He retired as professor from Rohtak. Dr. Kumar they were. He came back and told me, son, excellent. Give it to your professor. I said, then have you done something? Yes, I have done something. So he made some corrections. He said, give it to your professor. Now my other research scholars in the lab, they really become envious of me that I did not good in them. But you still write something which my professor will read. That proves the baat ki baat. He reads it in time. My professor used to just throw pages like this, very long subject. So he could read that. That is enough for me. But then he came back to me, rewritten. When he used to edit, everything will change. So that is something different. Everybody has got his own way of saying. But when it came to me, I understood that it will not be read by anybody. It was so इतना सारा from English हर kind of words and you go to the dictionary to find out what he wanted to write. तो मैंने उनको वही बोला, but I told it in a very different manner. This is also very important. Don't tell a person that you have done something which I don't like. You tell a person that possibly we can do it the other way around. So I went to him and I told him that he was a poet, he's writing Urdu and Persian. तो मैंने उनको बोला सर आप जो एक शायरी सुनाते हैं उसमें लिखा यही होता है और खिड़की में खड़ी हुई लड़की मेरी दिल ले लिया ये लिखा होता है, लेकिन हमको पड़ोस वाला जो उससे पूछना पड़ता है, टीचर को पूछना पड़ता है सर ने क्या कहा. तो बाय द टाइम वी नो द आंसर इज गॉन. हमारे बगल में जो बैठे थे जिनको हमें ये कहना था तो चले गए बैठे इसको कहेंगे. तो बोले क्या व्हाट यू वांट टू से. What I want to say is things should be simple. So next day to my good luck there were two teachers. Dr. Rishi we met, he came here. Dr. Rishi also used to write in Urdu, but then he will write like this only. वो लड़की जो खिड़की के पीछे है. तो आपको समझ में आ गया लड़की खिड़की की बात कर रहे हैं और ऐसे लिखोगे अंजुमन ये वो सब. तो इतने सारे बातों का आंसर तो पहले बताओ क्या है तो फिर आप स्टोरी बनाओ. तो बोले ये तुमने बोला क्यों बताओ. बोला मैं जो लिख के लाया था आपका पेपर वो बॉटनी वाले को समझ आ रहा था, आपने जो रीराइट किया वो जियोलॉजी वाले को समझ नहीं आ रहा है. सो वी हैव टू डू समथिंग एल्स. सो वी सेट आउट टुगेदर टू चेंज. देन वो टीचर्स आज आप करोगे तो मुश्किल होगा. आज करके थोड़ा सा हम लोग थोड़ा सा काम करते हैं. Then you revise the every time you read again what you have written, you find to do something to change. There could be major changes, there could be what is the language or the format can be changed or things like that. ये सब बेकार हो गया. आज तक upload it to the site and it changes its own format and everything. Is that right with me? अब ये तो कोई इसका सेंस नहीं है ना. तो अगली शुरू में टाइप एंड प्रिंट एंड प्रिंट आउट करके देते हैं तब जरूर पड़ता. अब तो आपको अपलोड करना है वो अपने आप चूज कर लेता हूँ एंड यू डोंट हैव टू इन फॉर्मेट इट और एनीथिंग. देन यूज द हेडिंग्स. कितने हेडिंग्स यूज कर सकते हैं उतने हेडिंग्स यूज करो. You are talking to a friend. You are telling a story. ठीक है, आप एक शादी अटेंड करके आए, आप उसकी स्टोरी बताना चाह रहे हैं। कौन मेरी हम तक गए थे, वो था यहाँ डांस हो रहा था, वो खा रहे थे, और ये हो रहा था, वो हो रहा था। फाइनली क्या हो रहा था? शादी हो रहा था, राइट? बट इफ यू वांट टू मेक इम्पैक्ट, कि कल रात का पार्टी का, मैरिज पार्टी का, the best part was there was a little bit of a dancing there. The disco was very good. So you start talking like that. When you met in the decoration was fine, but the best thing was there was a dancing floor. Then after dancing and everything, we went for food. Now it is a real sequence. It is there. So this was there. This was there. So for everything you have got a break. You have got titles. You have got paragraphs. You have to say things in parts. Everybody will be happy to do that. So India में कहते हैं आओ जो लो, तो आइए you can do whatever way you like, and you should be able to understand what you want to do and what you want to say. Check the references. This is one thing that everybody every time does a mistake, because if the reference is there in the text, but the reference is missing, the taken very bad. But this is again getting obsolete because you would endnote and all that type of software which makes it very easy for you. Have you read every reference? हमारे बच्चे सब पढ़ते हैं, रेफरेंसेस बहुत सारे लिखे हैं, तो रेफरेंस पढ़ा नहीं होता है। तो कई बार क्या होता है, फिलोसफी वाला बॉटनी का रेफरेंस नहीं मारता है, तो फिलोसफी हिस्ट्री का भी रेफरेंस आ जाता है। तो you should be very careful about it. Have you read this reference and does it really tell you what you want to say? That's very important. Which references to cite? All of them are not very important, and mostly what is happening is your reference is not be citing what is going on. आपका लोग करते हैं अपना citations को बढ़ाने के लिए, you don't repeating your information, then what happens is they pick up. So इस पेपर 5 बार इस पेपर पर 5 बार ये एरिया में लिख चुका है, छठे में क्या ज़्यादा लिखेगा? तो then there is it. Get a feedback from the student that I say. अच्छा, आप लोग मुझे बताओ कि आपका डिपार्टमेंट छोड़ के दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट का कोई स्टूडेंट के साथ दोस्ती रखते हो? Yeah, that is very important. Have a friend from English department, have a friend from statistics department, have a friend from some other department, your sister department, your student by chemistry department. So they come and tell you some things which you are looking so your teachers cannot be telling. So you get some new ideas into that. This is very important. The next is very important. Read your authors and check if you really read them. And then write a final title and the final abstract now. अभी टाइटल लिखा था ना, अपने टाइटल में कैसे ही कॉमन टाइटल बनाता हूँ, तो आपने लिखा कि आप यहाँ से घर जाते हो, बारिश होता है और रास्ते में डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ इंसेक्ट्स आप देखेंगे, एनिमल्स आप देखते हो, ठीक है? नाउ ये हमने लिखा टाइटल, फर्स्ट टाइटल लिखा था while walking on the rain, these animals were seen. The animals visible during rain, ये था. Now from where to where? जयपुर में अलग हुआ, कटक में और अलग हुआ, पूरी सी बीच में बिल्कुल ही अलग हुआ. So now what is there coming now? Now you are refining it. Walking where? Were you seeing only the animals or you were seeing animals and plants? Or was that crowded place or just a very thinly crowded place where you go and see some nature? Animals will be more available in a place where nobody is living. So now you can go on defining your subjects very carefully. Finalize the illustrations very carefully. Select out the illustration. I tell you one thing. तो फोटोज होते हैं, पिक्चर्स होते हैं, कुछ पिक्चर्स बहुत अच्छा लगते हैं. You really come in love with some pictures. So we are so attracted to that picture. पिक्चर भूल जाते हैं कि this picture has already been published by me some other. You put it in the All of my students did this mistake. I will really go through a very difficult time. तो editor को बता के वो picture को change कराना पड़ा. So it is very difficult. So you should be very very careful about it. That the same picture is not being used by you. Same picture is being used in the right place with the right reason or not. Not because it is attracting you right. Put that there. Then submit the manuscript to the editor. हम लोग क्या करते हैं चिट्ठी लिखते हैं आजकल बच्चे बहुत बढ़िया करते हैं ये manuscript को जो consideration please consider तो उसका जॉब है ना एडिटर है तो कंसीडर करेगा क्यों नहीं करेगा but you write it very nicely that this is what I have done during this time and I found it suitable for your journal so I am submitting it to you I hope you will like it and publish it something like that you should write why you have considered that journal where you have done this work why are you thinking that this journal paper should be published at the end of it you should write that nothing of it no part of it has been published anywhere and then you also write it that this paper is not under consideration by another journal because वो लोग भी काम कर रहे हैं ये लोग भी काम कर रहे हैं पता चला दोनों एक्सेप्ट कर लिए तो why do you put the editor in trouble okay so you have to write all these things you very careful about it now submit the manuscript with everything आजकल ये सब कुछ करना नहीं पड़ता the review process you know editors receive and then send it to peer reviewers and the review you can send it back to remember there will be three types of peer reviewers one who is very positive and thinks somebody has done some work which should be respected let us see if it can be published it is published yes or they write something it will be changed to this and published there are two types one who will accept it one who will say going to the other side publish it and there will be very tough people difficult people let's say for example नाश्ता नहीं दिया और अभी पेपर को पढ़ रहे हो फिर हुए झगड़ा हो रहा है वो कभी पढ़ दिया इतना ही सारा झगड़ा आपके ऊपर you should have known this you have not written like this is no science to be published this is something that is important just read it and remember that this gentleman has a very good fight with his boyfriend or girlfriend or he is not even so don't worry but read what he is doing very carefully try to change whatever he says and send it back to another journal so here I have stopped and give you one I'll give you very interesting I have got very good students in my life too much of them many of them all the students are giving me something very very nice to remember and very I had a very small role in my MSc neuroscience program. So they were supposed to go to another institute to do their interns. It was a condition that they would go to another institute to do their interns. Now this girl comes and says, I decline to follow this rules. You have to degree take it, you can go home. They say, okay, I'll go home, but I'll not go to another institute and do my interns. So madam told me, maybe उसके पास पैसा नहीं होगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम होगा, पेरेंट्स नहीं भेजते होंगे, थोड़ा बात कर लो, आप बात कर लीजिए. Then she declined to talk to ma'am also. She said, no madam, इससे कोई बात नहीं होगा. I will not go anywhere. I will do my interns here only. Then I called her and asked why. Then she tells me that when 10 students from other institutes come to your lab for internship, why should I go to another lab to learn? I got enough to learn here. I want to learn from you only. Okay, fine. अब क्या होता है आपको इच्छा नहीं किसी को हाँ कर दिया तो क्या होगा वो स्टूडेंट आता है जाता है सो फॉर 10 days he kept on telling coming सर क्या करूँ एक दिन कोई सीनियर टीचर पढ़ते सर है जैसे कोई सीनियर टीचर मेरे पास बैठा था वो आके कहूँगी सर मेरे को क्या करना है वो टीचर से क्या करना है तो बताओ क्या करना है मैंने रिपीट टू माय लैब एंड सेड वो भैया बैठ के पढ़ स्पाइनल कैंसर कर रहा हूँ और उसकी सेक्शनिंग कर रहा हूँ आई नो दिस वाज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट थिंग टू डू फॉर मी and I am telling it to MSc students who are into this. And in 15 minutes time, she came into the canteen on the side. This is the canteen here. As a cut section. You know, how many of you know how to use the spinal cord canteen? उसके नीचे होता है ना, उसमें जो फिट होता है पड़ा होता है और उसका भी सेक्शन काटना है. So this is the ecosystem. She came running to me. Yeah, sir, आप मेरे को इतना difficult काम दे रहे हैं. How to make this stand on the cube so that I can cut section? Very simple. इतने सुंदर नाखून में बढ़िया सा नेल पॉलिश लगा रखा है. उसको ऐसे पकड़ो और नीचे से उसको पुल करते जाओ तो पुल हो जाएगा. सेक्शन काटो. वो टीचर वहीं बैठे हैं. वो लंबा चौड़ा हमारा डिस्कशन करो. अरे यार नाजुक से बात करो ना, समझाओ, उसको काम कराओ. उसको तो डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हो. नो नथिंग सर, आप बैठे चांस वगैरह हम आपको दिखाएंगे. So in 2 hours time, she came with the section. So very surprising, very good section. I told her, okay, go ahead and do something. मैडम पूछे क्या करते हैं, हम आइलो वन कर रहे हैं. Okay, go ahead and do this आइलो वन. तो मैडम एक रस्सी दी. आइलो वन training on a spinal ganglia section. Why? For God's sake, everybody knows there is no microglia in the spinal ganglia. So what will you get out of it? So nothing. Ask her to learn this training process. Do not anything. It is obvious. She doesn't ask me twice. तो हमारा back बहुत clear है. हम एक दूसरे को दूसरा क्वेश्चन. उनका कमांड है, मैं कर देता हूँ. मेरा कमांड है, वो कर दो. So they went there and did it in 2 days time. Then she comes back to tell me, I see microglia in dorsal horn sections. It's an amazingly good statement. The whole world says there is no microglia in the dorsal horn ganglia, and she comes and tells me that I see microglia in dorsal horn ganglia. I said, which one? The treated one. What happens is the control? There is no microglia in the control. जाओ पे जाओ दोबारा करो. Then I call up my mentor to tell him he is seeing microglia in dorsal horn ganglia. Nobody is saying it. Then we repeated it. 4 times to see the same thing. I sent it out. Now this is the question. I sent it out for publication. एक वीडियो कहता है कि ठीक है, एक वीडियो कहता है बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है. एक तीसरा वीडियो है वो कहता है कि आप ऐसे 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 करिए तो हम सोचेंगे. तो जो वर्क की सजेस्ट की यू टेक सम 4 months एंड इन व्हाट टाइम आई हैव डन दिस वर्क इन 1 month. तो अमेरिका में बैठा है, उसको 4 महीना इसलिए चाहिए. अमेरिका में एक सुबह काट देते हैं 2 महीना लगता है प्रोड्यूसर. तो यू मेक प्रोड्यूसर एंड रिपीट इट. सो आई सेंड इट टू अनदर जर्नल. ये एलसीबी का क्या होता है, अभी नाउ ऑफिसर्स हैव गॉट समथिंग लाइक दिस one journal objects. The other journal will consider one of the reviews from the previous journal also. So unfortunately the next journal also sends the paper, the same review write the same thing. Now you should be very careful about this. Now the gulti should be there. हमने देख लिया कि इसको एंट्री हो गया, इसका गलती बदलना चाहिए. So I asked myself, why this color is taken for what for 2 more months? Then I talked to Indian Journal of Experience of Biology. I said, this is this, and I want this paper to be published. Stop press. Like the next issue, my paper should be there. I want it to happen. So are you sure that this is that important paper? Yes, I am very sure about it. Now they send it to the referee and they say, yes, we should publish it. You know what? Today nobody can write a review on microglia without using our paper. That seminal finding, the discovery by itself. And where it is published? Journal of Experimental Biology. So don't look at that, where it is published, but grab your claim on that. So you must talk about claiming. So now they will write all the time, they write Patro and others say this first time in the result. So you should be very careful about this. If it comes back with some comments, deal with the people's comments very carefully. It is always a way to say no. ठीक है? हम लोग आजकल लड़कों को बताते हैं not to say no, right? बताते हैं ना? There is a way to say no also. Don't develop an image by saying no. So रिव्यूअर से भी कोई दुश्मनी नहीं करना है. उसको नो बोलना है तो भी पोलाइट नो. आई थिंक what I was saying is correct, I am not liking to change it because of such and such and such reason. Or accept what he has said and change it. लोगों का एक्चुअली आदत होता है कि जो उसने कहा उसको चेंज करके भेजो छप जाएगा, नहीं ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. आपने कुछ लिखा है, आपको यू हैव सीन समथिंग दैट यू नो इज करेक्ट, प्लीज बी केयरफुल. The reply should be after you send it back, it will come back to you as accept values, revise and run will accept, or revise and run will reconsider or reject. So revision should be very carefully done. You should always understand what you are doing. तो जब भी कोई ऑब्जेक्शन आता है, नॉट ओनली राइटिंग पेपर इन योर लाइफ, इफ देयर इज समबडी इज ऑब्जेक्टिंग टू अ थिंग, टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड दैट इट विल बी फॉर वन, दे वांट यू टू improve. Two, they are competing. Three, they are simply rejecting you because of your life. You should be able to understand where you are, able to work on that. There are few options if you are accepted, if journal is not accepted your work and it is just thrown away. Revise the manuscript and resubmit it to another journal or the same journal. Appeal the decision. When they say no, it is not good, I am not good, I am rejecting this, you can always say no, you should not reject it. The reason behind it, why you should be kept to your right. I have already talked to you about it. Then once it is accepted, the proofs coming in, you don't read your proof yourself. Never do it. Because you have written it, you always jump. My name is Ishan Patro. I will never read whether it is Ishan written correctly or not. I take it for granted Ishan cannot be written wrong by me. But when I type, I have always done a mistake. English जरूर होता है, H के जगह पे कुछ आता है. You know, once I wrote my address and sent it to somebody. Ishan Kumar Patro, comma, School of Studies and Neuroscience. अगला लाइन में आता है. कॉमा के बिल्कुल ऊपर एल होता है. So by mistake, in place of comma, I pressed L. So the letter was sent, and then I got a reply. Hi, Mr. Patro. We are so happy to receive your letter. I read it. I can never think I write wrong. I will type wrong for Patro, right? So how can I do that? मेरा नाम में कैसे गलत टाइप करूँगा? That is confidence है ना. लेकिन if that I give it to तो सारी कमेंट सर क्या ये पेट्रोल क्या लिखा है, ठीक है. So you should be giving it to somebody who does not understand what is written there. So better ये इसलिए मैंने कहा दोस्ती होनी चाहिए. You give your modeling effort to a student of history. Last week whether it was spellings and everything okay तो इसका सारा चाहिए ना कि ये जो वाला है वो सारे से पढ़ के मुझे थोड़ा सा पढ़ लिया. Or if you are reading yourself, don't have a friend. Many people do not have a friend. They don't have a big problem. Then you start reading like this. Now is a good boy. Start reading. Boy whose age is Ram. Now you will not miss anything. You start reading because of it. So you can check the spelling. So if it is not done, then it will be published. Once it is published, it will remain there forever. And people will say, आपका नाम तो आपने आपको पता है और यहाँ publish करना. So once it is done, you get a acceptance letter, then celebrate. And मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, जिस दिन आपने आपका पेपर पब्लिश होने को पार्टी नहीं दिया, अगला पेपर बड़े मुश्किल से पब्लिश होता है. इसके साथ बैठे मैं जब क्या भाई साहब उतना इंटरव्यू का पेपर सब करता था, हम लोग पार्टी में तो अगला पेपर सब करेंगे. So जो कहते हैं जैसे वापस आएंगे जगन्नाथ जी से बाटा मंगला रेड्डी की पूजा करेंगे, लेकिन जो फ्रेंड्स को पूरा पार्टी देना पड़ेगा. पार्टी डिफरेंट ऑर्डर में होता है, कोई ऑर्डर में आप दे सकते हैं. So it's up to you what kind of party you want, but there should be a party. And लैबमेट्स को तो जरूर देना. मैं बता देता हूँ, लैबमेट अगर तुम्हारा दुश्मन हो गया तो केमिकल का मतलब जाएगा पूरा एग्रीमेंट बता दोगे करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं. हमारे टाइम से होता है लेकिन बदल. So you use the wrong kind of communication. So they say I started with acknowledgement. Let me acknowledge again with another. I think I have been able to really stimulate people in this place a lot. When this book was launched in neuroscience conference, some of the top neuroscientists asked me, who is this Jyotirma? And she was standing here. And she was here and she is going to speak. No, you understand, see, that what is she doing? So we chali gayi to maza aata. So she is a professor of English. So you made her write a book on scientific writing. Oh yes, writing is the word. Writing तो अंग्रेजी में होता, अंग्रेजी में काम मेरा काम कोई नहीं. So if you have a good friend, if you develop a rapport nicely, you really can do things. All about development. And the book was written in a marathon way, we had only 2 months to complete office and then launch it. So this is something that I want to do.